Welcome back to the Wave Podcast. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. The Wave Podcast is hosted at Morgan State University at the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center. We're funded by Truist. I want to thank them for providing the resources for us to have this particular resource. And for those who are new to this resource is all about providing resources to build the capacity of women entrepreneurs. So I'm super excited about this particular topic. It's all about getting the money. And we have a powerhouse in here today, as you can see. And I'm going to introduce them by the way I see them. And once you all get started, if you can introduce your company, I'm just going to say your name and just welcome you to the podcast. And then you all can go and have a roundtable discussion. So we have Michelle Powell. Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
We have Isha Taylor. Hey, Isha.
Thank you. It's Aisha. Hi,
Aisha?
everyone.
Aisha?
Yes.
Y'all need to pronounce her name correctly. Aisha. Yes. My engineer back there. We have Tanya Justice. And hey, Tanya.
Hi.
Hey.
And
we
there.
have Nick Rudolph. Hey,
Hello.
Nick. All right. So today's topic is all about accessing capital. I'm going to disappear and I'm going to enjoy this roundtable discussion. So let's start off with Tanya and Nick, if you all can talk about what MCE is all about, and then just have a conversation. I'll see y'all in a bit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So my name is Tanya. I am actually the Director of Loan Operations with Maryland Capital Enterprises, and I'll let you let Nick introduce himself and tell you what his role is. But just a little bit about Maryland Capital. We actually offer small business loans or micro business loans, I should say, to small businesses. Our loans venture anywhere from $500 to $150,000. We have two tiers. The first tier being a credit builder loan, which is anywhere from $500 up to $5,000. Anything over $5,000, then it breaks down once again into new businesses or an expansion or an existing business. Those loans range anywhere from $35,000, depending on how long you've been in business, up to $150,000. And our loan terms are pretty much, they come about by the packet that you submit to us. That's what gives us enough information so that we're able to arrive at the terms of the loan. I'll kind of quiet down for a minute. I'll let Nick go ahead and jump in. And Nick, when you need me, just let me know.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tanya. So my name is Nick Rudolph. I'm the Baltimore Regional Director with Maryland Capital Enterprises. It's good to know we've got two offices, one down in Salisbury on the Eastern Shore and one up here on Harford Road in Baltimore. We serve the entire Eastern Shore and then Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. But if you're anywhere in Maryland and you need some help, you can feel free to reach out to us and we will be sure to connect you with the right service provider. Tanya did a great job talking about our loans, but I'd also like to talk that, in addition to doing lending, we also offer what we call technical assistance. Other folks might call it counseling. So we're able to work with you to help develop or improve a business plan, work with cash flows, figure out your marketing, just about any topic that we can. We also offer webinars during non-COVID times, in-person classes, and all kinds of fun things like that. So while we are here for loans, we're also here to help you in any way that your business would need, really. So I guess the next thing would be if Aisha and Michelle could tell us a little bit about your businesses and experiences that you've had, challenges and successes that you've had accessing capital for your business to help it grow.
Who wants to start first? That's what I was going to ask you too, Michelle.
All right, well let's go with Aisha first.
Perfect. So thank you so much. And I just want to share. My name is Aisha Taylor, and I am the CEO and founder of Breaking the Cycle, which is a small giant, if you will, invested in MWBE business. We're a consulting firm and just really on a mission to eradicate poverty through entrepreneurship. And I know that's a big mission, right? And so I'm just really excited to be a part of the process. And what else did you want us to, I apologize. What else did you want us to share?
Oh, so just a little bit about, any challenges or successes that you've had attempting to access capital, if that's something that you've done.
Yeah, so just as you know, on the entrepreneurial journey, just originally when I launched, I really wasn't clear on my mission, my vision, like all of those basic things that you think that, oh, I want to monetize myself, I want to monetize my knowledge. And so you don't often know where to begin. And so on that journey, my business plan, my strategy wasn't officially there in the point that I was deciding to, I felt like I needed capital. And so capital is the first thing that people think they need, but it may not be in the form of a monetary value. And so what I did on the journey was I was like, okay, how can I increase my human capital? How can I increase my social capital? And so that's the process that I took, because a lot of business owners, whether they're, budding entrepreneurs or serial entrepreneurs, they may come with a network. They may come with other resources that'll help them gain access, or, because access is another issue too, that helps them gain access to some of these spaces where they can get, financial capital. And so one of the things, again, what I did was tapped into the social network and the human capital. And now I'm more clear on what it looks like, what type of capital I need. And so the route that I took outside of loans, right, was to access grants, which is my space. And so now in this space, I'm like, okay, I'm learning how loans can be effective and be useful to the process as well. And so that's my tidbit for now. Michelle.
Yep, go right ahead, Michelle.
Hi, I am Michelle, owner of Soul Journey Travel, here based out of Baltimore, Maryland. And so we are a travel group with a travel paradigm. And what we do is we provide curated travel experiences for the African-American community, domestically and internationally. So I'm super excited. This is a company that was founded by my grandfather in the 1970s, and I have been able to restart it in 2021. So to answer your question, in regards to capital is, I'm having a back and forth relationship. I mean, honestly, I recently just got a lot of assistance with you, Nick and Tanya. I had no clue I was going to be seeing you today. And honestly, kind of to speak to that, I have another company. I am a serial entrepreneur. And what I was finding that with my other company, I was just coming with so many hiccups. Of course, grants are what everybody wants to do because you want free money. Don't nobody have to worry about, paying anything back. You're just getting started. You don't want to accrue any more debt. But what I had to more so humble myself to is that while I was waiting for these grants that weren't guaranteed, I might have been missing out on opportunities for my business to truly scale. And so once I really kind of got more into focusing on Soul Journey, and then also realizing it takes money to make money. And so in it, seek whatever you can, because my ultimate plan is to, of course, everybody used to be a millionaire, but I know I'm really going to be a millionaire. And it starts with some dollars now to get there. So in doing that, it has really been a journey, on the grant side. It's a lot of patience. You have to understand that you're going against so many people. So, you got to put a lot of focus into your business plan. That is the one thing that I am very invested on, in seeking resources on getting my business plan where it speaks for itself, because these are the type of questions, or these are the type of requirements that lenders and also those that are giving out grants are going to want to look for, they're going to want to see. So it has really, overall, it has really just helped me connect with my company, really get our foundation established, but also be understanding that not all money is going to be available, right immediately. And just to stay the course, through the process. And, one no is never, the end of it. You need to knock at another door. So that's been my experience thus far.
That is awesome. And I think one thing that I picked up on that both of you said that I think is so important in what we do is that you're both, using your for-profit businesses to help build community. And, and as Aisha said, to help eradicate poverty, which is part of what our mission is as well. And we see that a strong small business community, even at a neighborhood level, is what's going to really make those changes society-wise. So I'm really happy that both of you mentioned, communities in your talk about business. And absolutely, we'll talk a little bit about grants just at the beginning. The truth of the matter is that there are some grants out there, but they are really rare. And if you're planning on funding your business through a grant, it better be a nonprofit, because there's just not going to be enough money to do everything on those grants, especially now as we're getting out of COVID and some of those small business grants are drying up. Now, if you have a retail store, you might be able to get a city to pay for your facade improvements and things like that. But, paying for employees and stuff, accessing capital through either traditional lenders or community development financial institutions or CDFIs like we are is really the way to go. There's a lot of things in there that are sometimes difficult to hear. It takes a little bit longer for these things to happen than we would like them to. There seems to always be a delay, so you're not going to be applying for a loan and getting money in a week or two. It's more in a month or 2 or 3 or 4 that you're going to be getting that money. So it's really good to plan and not come and start a relationship with a lender when you're in a time of crisis. Start that relationship, way beforehand. And since a lot of us CDFIs are offering this technical assistance, that's a great way to do that, because there's no expectation that if we help you, with a business plan or cash flows, that you're 100% going to apply for a grant or for a loan. Excuse me. I wish we had grants. But the other thing that's really wonderful to understand, especially in the Maryland area, is that there are a number of us service providers out here. And, so get your technical assistance from a couple of different places. Have a number of different eyes look at your documents, because really you're going to be tailoring it for each ask that you make anyway. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in and share. Omar specifically wanted to know some of the challenges that our entrepreneurs have when accessing capital. And one of the biggest challenges, well, there are a few challenges, but one of the biggest challenges is collateralizing the loan, being able to secure the loan. But more importantly, even than that, a lot of individuals are thinking of just starting a business without having a well-developed business plan. And planning is the key. If you do not have a business plan, which is really the blueprint that you can always reference back to, then you're really setting yourself up for failure. You can have the ideas, but you have to be able to put these things into place where they fit to make it make sense in a sense. Because without that business plan and having structure in how your business is going to operate, you're already doing yourself an injustice. You just have nowhere to go and you don't have any idea of how to get there. But like I said, one of the main challenges is once they get to that point and they seem ready to move forward, collateral has definitely been a challenge in many of our cases.
Oh, and I like that. Nick, if I can piggyback off of Tanya, because I'm sure that's so many people's story, right? When entrepreneurs, we're just so gung-ho about so much, right? And so we're like, we can take on the world, we're solving all these problems, and as problem solvers, as the technicians that we are, right? We just like, okay, I got this issue. We got all these solutions and the problems, and we don't know how to make it make sense. It takes a while. Actually, it takes failure a lot of times, right? To really understand. And so that's one of the pieces that why I talk about grants, because it gives you the opportunity to like cut off the fat, trim the fat of your business, right? And again with microloans as well, even going through the microloan or microlending process, it gives you the opportunity to see and to get feedback on what's working, what's not. To follow up and say, oh, okay, well, why didn't I get this loan? And to bring it to organizations like MCE and Tanya and Nick and just like, how can you help me navigate through this? Okay, they denied me this time. So, and that's a piece for entrepreneurs, especially in the startup phase. And Michelle mentioned it too, getting that no, like you really want to get 100 no's, right? That and because it'll help you not only as a business owner, but as a leader in a lot of these places, and to be able to be a really effective advocate for the most marginalized and underserved communities. And so, yeah, so thank you so much, Tanya, for that. Nick, thank you.
Sure. No problem at all. And I just want to point and just highlight on just another key point. A no is not always a bad thing. As a matter of fact, a no is a lesson that will help you learn where that no developed and how to get to that positive yes without question. So a lot of people get upset. You know, we've had clients who come in and they're denied and they want to argue, they want to go back and forth. And I'm like, well, just take this as a lesson. Let's get to the root of why that no exists. And then let's work to turn it around, because a lot of our clients, Nick can attest to this, when they come, they're ready for the money right now. We want to work and help them ensure that they're really ready for that step, because there's no point in you getting a loan when you really do not have the ability to repay that loan. At that point, at that moment, and I tell Nick hears it all the time, we're setting them up for failure. You know, if we give them less than what they want, you know, our minimum loan for a new business is $35,000. So what most of our clients do is request $35,000. They really need $70,000, but because they know the minimum is $35,000, so now they've shorted themselves by 50%. There is no way to make up that difference. So the reality becomes you need to revisit, you know, whatever your designated use of funds may be, to see if that $35,000 is going to even make sense. And most of the time it doesn't.
You know, Tanya, you bring such a great point. On several things, I'm gonna back up a little bit, because when you mentioned like the business plan and kind of putting yourself in that position for success, you know, my backstory kind of getting into it is that I funded, you know, my company through my own personal capital, right? I thought I was being grown and I could handle it, at it. And, you know, I think that's a lot of the issue what people do, is that when you get to the point where you're at a CDFI and you need funds immediately, is because you didn't go through all your reserves and, you know, you were like, oh, no, this was not the plan. You know, you thought you was going to flip that money. And I think a lot of times people, you know, I think all of us, too many of us come into it with that hustle mentality. And, you know, really you have to, what I loved about you emphasizing about having a business plan, because one, it kind of helps you to sit back and, you know, what the task at hand will create the dollars, but you don't necessarily know how the execution plan needs to be. And so for me, it was like when I started up, it was like, it didn't matter how prepared I was, how many people, you know, that were familiar with the company that was already established, that could give some insight. When it came time to actually enact, you know, they weren't available, you know, as available. They didn't, you know, have the knowledge that I thought they did. And what I found myself was just paying for experiences over and over and over again, you know, and that leads to the resentment, right? Because then you're upset. You're like, you know, I didn't invest all this money. I should be at this particular point at this moment. But it really takes for you to just believe in your vision and know that it's like, okay, your plan is not what everyone else's plan is going to be. And you have to be okay with it. And just as you said, those no's help you prepare better. You know, I love that Nick emphasized that don't just work with one CDFI, you know, mix it up. Everybody has different requirements. They're going to have different templates. They're going to aid you in a different way that is definitely going to put you on that tier for success. And then it gets to that point where your company will start revenue without you having to labor as much.
Yeah, and to piggyback
and that's really awesome, Michelle.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, you know, there's a few things, and I'm gonna go on two different levels here. Number one, you know, our maximum loan at $35,000 for a new business. Sometimes a business does need 50, 75, 100,000 to get started. When you're working with us and you show us that you really do need that amount of money, we can help find another CDFI so you can apply for both at the same time and get the money you need. On the other side of that, a question that we often get is, you were denied for $35,000. Could you give me less money so I can get started? And the reason why we never do that is because if you need 35,000 and we give you 10, 15, 20, we are definitely setting you up for failure. And not only setting you up for failure, but setting you up for failure and debt. And you definitely don't want both of those things. So if we say no to a 35, what we're going to do is work with you to get to the point where you can get that full 35 so you can start that business successfully. Because the reason why you're asking for that money ahead of time is so that you can start with the confidence knowing you have the resources to actually build the foundation of your business. And if you've only got half of those resources, you're not building a strong foundation. So, you know, so the no's with the but is never going to be, but we can give you half. It's going to be, but we can work with you to get you to the point you need to be to get that full amount and have a successful business.
Absolutely. Nick.
Exactly. And if I could just add, Michelle indicated that she used quite a bit of her own, reserve in order to kind of get things going. That is something that we at MCE do admire. And if you allow us to work with you and you have already invested quite a bit in, we will try to cut corners that we can and keeps us within our guidelines and regulations to help you. Because if a person comes to me and they have absolutely nothing to offer, but they want everything, I'm going to frown on that individual versus someone who is going to take all that they have to put forth to ensure that their business is ready to be successful. And what I see in the activity of each one of those is I see the activity in the one who has nothing to bring, is they're just in a rush to get it. Chances are they're on this big, just a plane with this big window that's a view of nothing but paradise. So they don't have a clue as to what it really is going to take to get this thing going. And if you're not willing to put skin in the game, then I'm going to kind of put you over on the side where there's a red X. Versus that client who says, well, you know what? I only have about $10,000 to put into this. I have weak collateral, but I can pledge this. If you guys are willing to counsel me, offer me consultation, and it can get me where I need to be, I'm willing to wait a little longer to get this going and know that it's going to be successful. I am going to be hooray, hooray, hooray. Let's do it, Nick.
Yeah.
In whatever way
Absolutely.
we can.
Yeah. Yeah, and that really does show a lot. And I think that sort of going on with that, we often get folks who say that they want to start a business because they're sick of working for somebody else and they think it'll be easier to run a business. It won't be. It'll be harder to run a business, but it'll be more fulfilling to run a business. But if we hear people start saying like, I want to do less work, that puts up red flags for us as well. And then folks who are sort of like in a timeline crunch when there really isn't one, where they could start next week or 6 months from now or a year from now, and the business would still start at the same place. That can often cause some issues. And one other thing that I've heard some folks say is that, there's a lot of paperwork required for these loans. The business plan, the cash flow projections, the applications, the supplemental materials, all of that stuff. If you start feeling like that is too much, reach out to us so that we can help you out with that. But if you feel like we're asking too much, just in general, that you don't want to provide that, then again, you want to start thinking about, is opening this business really for you? Because when you're opening a business, it's not just a child, it's a part of yourself that you're putting out there in the world. And if you're not willing to, do the work and put yourself out there, you're not setting yourself up for success. And we want every single one of our businesses to be successful. And that's one of our biggest goals. We want to see every single one of you thrive. And if it's going to take 12, 18 months for that to happen, then we're going to help you make that happen.
Yeah, I can definitely.
Exactly.
I can just personally attest to that because I recently went to Impact Hub. They had here in Baltimore, and they had a mini summit, a mini entrepreneur summit. And one thing I found, and I'm definitely going to take this take this lesson and utilize this in my network. But they were asking people just the same questions, just your experiences. And what I found was that those that were more vulnerable, as you're saying, like with your business and being upfront, those that were more vulnerable and exposed with the problems and what was going on there, after you would have a discussion, people were coming up to you with solutions. And so when you said that, it's like, that is so true. Like, along with the fact that it's going to be a long process, there could be aid along the way that if you don't expose it or you don't reveal it, you can't, heal from it. You can't be able to grow from it because clearly if you don't have the answers, in your mind, it's just going to stay there. So I love that you reiterated that because that is so true. Like I said, firsthand, when I spoke of my matters, right after I got done with no intentions, someone came up to me and offered, some resources to me.
Absolutely. And it builds a network for you. So, so these cohort classes through the WBC or through us or through Impact Hub or Operation Hope or other folks like that, they build a network. And I don't remember exactly which one it was, but I remember once that there was a group of people, their businesses had nothing to do with each other. And the gentleman said, my biggest problem is that I need more bananas for my business and I can't find a good supplier of bananas that's got a constant price and can constantly get them to me. And somebody else said, My uncle owns a banana farm in Costa Rica. Let me hook you up with him. I know he's going to get what you needed. And so because they had those folks together, they were able to solve a problem that he never thought he'd be able to solve in that room. So you really want to turn these folks into your true network, make them your friends, check in on them, send them holiday cards, all of that stuff. Make sure that when there's something out there that they're going to think about you first. And the other thing that you want to do is, if you have the ability to support their business personally or with your own business, they're going to have the ability to support your business either personally or with their own business. So, you really want to make sure that you're building that network, because the truth is small businesses are a community and they build community. And that's really, what we're trying to do here.
So true.
Absolutely, Nick. And I just wanted to add that piece, and I know Omar is coming back on, but that human capital and that social capital piece has been like my life savior. You know what I'm saying? And I know you were talking about before, like that journey, and Michelle and I are both nodding our heads on every single thing, because it's like when you're out here, entrepreneurship is not, you have to die to yourself every day, right? and peel back the layers all the time. And so when I couldn't, in that financial way, capital, getting that hard cash or whatever, I was like, okay, what can I do in the meantime? How can I build, my skill set? How can I build my technical skills? How can I build those KPIs, right? And so now I'm in a space where I'm tapped in internet, globally, or nationwide. And so that's where your capital is. And when you talked about, that intersectional cross industry, merging, that's a whole new world that you never knew that, you can tap into, that will provide some capital. And so I just wanted to echo that networking is my jam. Okay. I love it.
For sure. And another thing with that is, and it's tough, this is tough for me even, but it's being able to be honest and vulnerable with the folks who are there to help you. One thing that we do care about is credit. People often ask, what's your minimum credit score? We don't have one. We're looking at a story of the last 18, 24 months. But if you've got credit issues, when you're talking to us or you're talking to a bank, let them know that right up front, because then they can be putting your loan through underwriting, making, giving the reasons why the credit might not be so strong. And coming out of the pandemic, there's a lot of really good reasons why folks' credit scores have gone down. And if we're able to address that, then we can often, provide a loan or find somebody to do a loan for you. But if we think that you're going to have great credit and we pull your credit report and we see all these missed payments, then we're starting to think, what was this person hiding from us? So it's really important that, that you feel comfortable with us. So you want to build a relationship so that you can talk about the things that are difficult to talk to. And the nice thing with folks like, at MCE and other CDFIs is that we're coming from a place of help and support, not a place of judgment. We hear these stories every single day. We have the tools to help you overcome those hurdles. And so being honest when you're going for that loan is really the most important. If you're ever thinking, oh, let me try to hide this, you're thinking the wrong way, and just because you think it's something you need to hide, it doesn't mean that it is. In fact, sometimes things that people have been sort of embarrassed about have been the things that have been the good thing that got them their loan. So you definitely want to be just upfront and honest. And I understand how hard that is, which is why we try to be, as soft as possible, so that you understand that we're here for you, as a non-judgmental resource when we're dealing with those things.
So great points, everybody. Great points. So tell your story in those social networks. They really work, especially in the entrepreneurship community. I'm often suggesting that entrepreneurs work together, even if you're in the same field. There's enough resources out here and people and if you have a plan right, that is, that you can actually go after some business. All right, so let's do this. Let's give us some contact information. We're going to start with you, Isha Taylor. And did I hear that you're a veteran?
I am.
Oh, thank you for your service.
MWBE, service disabled, all those things, but I'm working on the official certifications now.
In what branch?
Air Force, the best branch, of course.
I have to ask. I mean, I knew what it was, but I had to ask so everybody can know. Your contact information.
So right now, you can find me, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Aisha Taylor. You'll see me
Yeah,
just
spell
type
that for them. Spell it for them.
ISHA,
There you
last
go.
name Taylor, TAYLOR. Connect with me on LinkedIn. That's the platform that I'm using because we're relaunching and looking to build a membership platform as well to make the entrance and our services more affordable to our target demographics. So thank you all.
Thank you. All right, Michelle, you up next.
Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at Soul Journey Travel. You can find our website. You can find our website is souljourneytravel.com. And
Spell
then
it out for us, Michelle. Spell it out for us.
yes, I will. Soul, SOUL, Journey, JOU. Why? But you had to make me think like, how do I spell my company name for us? But it's also on my shirt too, just in case.
There you go. There you go. All right. I've been doing this radio podcast stuff for years. So you got to spell it out for people.
So true. Right here, I've spelled it out as well too. But I look forward to connecting with you guys. If you head over to our website, you can join our mailing list so we can always stay connected with you and show you what we have to offer coming in the future. Super excited.
All right, good deal. All right, Nick, Tanya, I don't know who's gonna go. You both can go.
Sure. So the best way to get in touch with Maryland Capital Enterprises is to go to our website, marylandcapital.org, and you'll see on the top right-hand side, there's a client intake form. Fill that out, and a person in your geographical area will get in touch with you in the next 2 days, or 2 or 3 business days, I'm sorry. And if you want to reach out to me directly, phone number is 410-900-5715. And the email address is nrudolph@marylandcapital.org.
All right. And Tanya, you want to go?
I've kind of put all my information in the chat. So there's my email. I have put the phone number. And again, like Nick said, you can reach us through the website.
People not going to see the chat.
Oh, they can't see the chat?
No. They're not going to see the chat. So what's your email?
So my email is tjustice, so that's TJUSTICE at Maryland, spelled out, capital, we don't want to confuse it, so it's CAPITAL.org. The phone number to reach me at is 410-546-1900, extension 100.
Right, good deal.
And I am on LinkedIn, but I don't even know what my handle is, but I'm there if you look up Tanya Justice. I am there for Maryland Capital.
Up on LinkedIn, y'all. So I want to really thank you all for coming on board of the Wave podcast. Some great conversation, great nuggets to take away as well. I meant to say this early on that we at Morgan State University through EDAC, we have funding at Maryland Capital Enterprise for women veterans of color, as well as women of color who are looking to do government contracting. So we're kind of a partner of them. You know, we refer people to them and likewise. So reach out to them as well. In past episodes of Wave Podcast, just head on over to Morgan's website. We're at edacmorgan.com. That's edacmorgan.com, and just click on Women Initiatives. You can see past episodes of the Wave podcast. We'll continue to do these. We have some coming up. We talk about capability statements. We talk about certifications, resources for veteran-owned businesses, social media, mentor protege. So these are some of the topics that are coming up. So again, I want to thank you all for participating. Until we see each other again, which will be next month, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.